like to welcome you all for coming, and I thank you for showing up tonight. For those of you that don't know me, I am Pastor Stephanie Filio, the pastor at the Dalton United Methodist Church. I promise that I will try not to keep you too long, but you know, I am a pastor, so I do like to talk. John's going to be putting a few pictures up on the wall as I go through a little bit of the history and the reason why we're here tonight. It was thought that Methodist influence was first introduced in Dalton along with surrounding hill towns around 1795 by Reverend Mezes Rayner, who was a pastor in Lynn, Massachusetts. In 1800, the first class of the Dalton Circuit was formed in Middlefield with a membership of 4. In the years of 1814 through 1818, regular services were held in the old schoolhouse that stood near the present town hall. The first Methodist church was erected in 1834, standing where we are now. It was a wooden structure, 1 story high, and that is it. It was remodeled in 1850 and then again in 1869. In 1893, led by its pastor at that time, Reverend C. Robertson, the members set out to build a new church. Many interested people of other faiths in town contributed to the expense, and the church members were so encouraged by the friendly spirit shown by all that no sacrifice seemed impossible. Self-denial was the spirit. Children were even going without butter on their bread so that they could help with the new church. The cornerstone of the present church was laid on Sunday, May 6, 1894, which is the church that we are right now. The Methodist Church, together with all other churches of Dalton over the years, have made a most important contribution to the social and intellectual life of the town. This article that I just read was written back in 1947 when the present pastor was Reverend David Livingstone. The Carson window is the reason why we are all here tonight, is named after David and Margaret Carson. This beautiful gift was given by their son Thomas in loving recognition of his mother and father. The cost of the window back in 1894 was $600. The window was designed by a Boston firm of Phipps and Slocum. The window compromises a total of 17 individual panels set into a rebate in a wood frame. In the center of the panel is Jesus with Mary and Martha. It is fabricated using methods of techniques created and used by the renowned artist John Lafarge. It is layers of glass stacked on top of each other, creating depth. Just a little history of the Carson family. David Carson came to Dalton in 1809 and worked in the old Berkshire Mill. While the new mill was being built by Joseph Chamberlain. Chamberlain, Carson, and Henry Wiswell bought the land the mill stood on from Martin Chamberlain, but operated it only briefly before selling it to the Cranes in 1810. 2 years later, Carson bought Daniel Gilbert's 3rd share in the old Berkshire Mill, and in 1816 became the sole owner of the original Crane enterprise. The factory was run by Carson and his sons, Thomas and William, until 1867, when they sold to Charles Brown of Dalton, George Plunkett of Hinsdale, and Lewis Powers of Springfield. And after a fire in 1872, the old Berkshire Mill was rebuilt by a stock corporation owned by Carson's son William and grandson John D. and Zenius Crane Jr. In 1823, Carson built the Defiance Mill, later operated by Byron Weston. David Carson and Sons drilled an artesian well at the old Berkshire Mill in 1854. Carson later moved to Pittsfield and was the president of the Pittsfield Cooperative Bank when he passed away. Thomas Carson, who bought the Carson window, died at the age of 86 after a long illness. Thomas acquired the trade of paper making in New York, then went on to Worcester, and then eventually came here to Dalton to work alongside with his father. Thomas was the oldest director of Berkshire Life Insurance, serving 51 years. He was also the director of Pittsfield National Bank and one of two founders of the Dalton Library and a benefactor to the church where we stand right now, Dalton United Methodist. John's going to put up a picture of a Bible class in 1920. The picture was taken right outside the Carson window on our front lawn. The woman in the front row, which it's hard to see, all the way to the end, to the right, is Fanny Smith Carson, one of the Carsons, but we're not sure who she was married to. Also in the picture is Barb Ellis's mother. I'm not sure which one she is, but I'm sure Barbara can pick her out. The reason why I gave you some history of the Carson family is they were very influential in the history of this church, especially the window. We are trying to find any family members of the Carsons to let them know that we are restoring and repairing the beautiful window that was donated in memory of their family. The old wooden church that stood here first was moved to the side in the parking lot so that this church could be built, so that they still could have services. And when this church was opened, they moved that to the corner of High Street in Daly, but it was eventually torn down to make way for apartments. This church where we are right now has so much history, and the window has been a staple of Main Street since 1894. When I first became pastor here 6 years ago, I was told by many people that people would stop and take pictures of this beautiful window and how much it meant to them and how much they miss it. The Friends of the Carson Window would like to bring light back to the sanctuary and raise funds to restore and rebuild the frame and have the Carson window once again be the light in that staple of Main Street. We are trying to raise $150,000 for this project. So far, we have raised $56,000, and we have just started the campaign. We have several fundraisers planned, with the first one being June 19th with a drive-by spaghetti and sausage dinner. Then we're hoping to have a craft fair this summer, followed up by Rock the Church on September 11th, where many bands are donating their time to help raise money. I can't do this alone. Most of my team is here with me. We have Tracy Wilson, Melissa Weiner, Dave Bedeau, Ro Reed, Donna Millington, Roberta Stewart, Mike Terrell, and Brenda Provencher. They all have been working so hard to get this up and running, and I thank them so much. I'm almost done. Any donation of any size is welcomed. You can visit our GoFundMe page, which is on our Facebook page of Dalton United Methodist Church, but make sure you look up Dalton, Massachusetts, because there is another Dalton United Methodist Church. Or you can send it here to my attention to 755 Main Street, and all your donations are tax deductible. Doing my research on the Carson window and of the church, I came across a poem by Samuel Stone that was written in 1927. It's called The Church. The church's one foundation is Jesus Christ, her Lord. She is his new creation by water and the word. From heaven he came and sought her to be his holy bride. With his own blood he bought her, and for her life he died. Elect from every nation, yet one over all the earth, her charter of salvation, one Lord, one faith, one birth, one holy name she blesses, partakes one holy food, and to one hope she presses with every grace endued, mid toil and tribulation and turmoil of her war, she waits the consumption of peace forevermore, till with the vision glorious her longing eyes are blessed, and the great church victorious shall be the church at rest. Yet she on earth hath union with God, the three in one, the mystic sweet communion with those who rest is one. O happy ones and holy, Lord, give us grace that we, like them, the meek and lowly, on high may dwell with thee. Amen. I'm hoping that you can help us, the Friends of the Carson Window, to bring light back into this sanctuary and make the Carson Window a staple once more of Main Street and of Dalton United Methodist Church. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have, and hopefully I can answer them. If not, this concludes our little service, and we would like to invite you into the other room for some goodies and to see a picture close up of the Carson Window that we have.